Youth of Purpose.
Yeah, you're welcome for being part of this show. Welcome to Youth of Purpose, yet another episode to start. We thank you for being part of this show. My name is Betty Okwakunda Lisa. I'm a legal scholar and I'm your host today. Today our topic is youth unemployment and job creation. Today's youth, we make the biggest percentage of the population of this country, and so it is a crucial and a major issue to talk about when we are unemployed. Today on the show, I have a gentleman to help me analyze the situations of unemployment and job creation. He's a councillor of Mulago 3B, Kawempe Division, a legal scholar and a businessman. His name is Chimbo Wastani. Maybe he could introduce himself. Your counsel.
Oh, thank you, Betty, for hosting me. I'm really happy for being part of this show. Thank you. I'm Chimbo Wastani, Councillor LC3, representing the good people of Mulago 3B at Kawempe Urban Council. At the same time, I'm a legal scholar at Makerere University and a businessman operating in different spheres of business, including transport business and beauty. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I would like you to tell us what is your general understanding about unemployment and job creation?
We have got really a problem in Uganda due to the fact that the largest number of the population in Uganda is comprised of the youths. But I found out that many of them are unemployed. But I blame this largely to our education system, which tends to produce more of job seekers rather than job makers. Maybe if at all we had a system which produces job creators, we wouldn't have had this problem of massive unemployment.
Before we go to that,
yes.
I would like you to tell us the general understanding. If someone asks you,
yes.
What does unemployment mean, or job creation, how do you understand it? How would you help someone out there to understand what you're talking about?
Okay, what we have to understand first is that we are having various or several types in our job market. We're having people who are skilled, we're having those who are semi-skilled and those who are not skilled at all. Yes. So when we talk of unemployment, we are talking of the people who are not in a job market, who are not employed, who don't have what to do to earn a living. That is to say, whether educated or semi-skilled or unemployed or uneducated at all. So the general understanding of unemployment is when someone is not earning for a living. And job creation, I mean, is that when we come up with initiatives whereby someone can start up something. I mean, being innovative, you start up something for maybe employing others or your own self so as to earn a living. That's the general understanding of unemployment and job creation.
Okay, thank you so much. Today in Uganda, we have a percentage of unemployed youth. It ranges from 64 to 70%. That means that almost 30% of the youths are unemployed.
Yes.
When we see according to institutions, we see every institution, or almost all the institutions of the country, they release almost 400,000 graduates
Yes.
to the job market, but there are only 9,000 slots of the jobs, and this leaves most of the students, most of the graduates out unemployed. What would you say is the major cause of that?
As I told you initially, that the major problem you're having is the education system, which produces more of job seekers rather than job creators. That's the major problem, because you find out that a graduate comes out of the university when in actual sense cannot do anything, cannot innovate anything on his or her own, rather than seeking for employment somewhere, without knowing that you can be employed for some time, then maybe you can be relieved of that work. So I would rather, to me, we change or we check our education system to produce more of job creators rather than job seekers. Because it's the only problem. You find out that more than even 4,000 graduates that come out of the institutions of higher learning or annual. But where are they going to work? That's why we have encountered a problem of brain drain. You find that we are having now the modern day slavery. Back in the days, slavery was forced. We were forced by our colonizers to be taken there to work on their farms. But this time around, we are paying to be enslaved. We are paying a lot of money to be taken and work as slaves, most especially in the Middle East. But maybe if our education system was to the extent that it produces job creators and we utilize the opportunities that we have in here in the country, maybe we could have cut down the problem of unemployment in Uganda. But the education system itself is a problem. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. So we know that it is the government that is responsible for all this. What do you think the government has done to curb the situation?
Yes, the government has come up at least with some initiatives whereby very many youths are now being skilled, because it's the way to go. It's the way to go. That the government has come up with the initiatives whereby they have started training. For example, the presidential initiative whereby the youths are being trained with the skills which can help them in life. That after they come out of those institutions where they are being trained, they can at least start up their own work. They can start up their own ventures whereby they want to go out to look for.
When you talk about that, sorry to cut you short, but when you talk about that, we see many institutions release graduates after they have gotten the skills. Most of these skills are hard skills. But we see most of these students or the released graduates, they usually stay unemployed, yet they are from institutions. What do you think is the cause?
The problem is the limited capital these people are having. Remember, someone is just out of the institution. Don't expect that person to get huge sums of money to start up something. The only problem we are having that these graduates are having limited capital to start up or to employ their skills that they have acquired at the institutions. Maybe if the government comes up with initiatives whereby these graduates are empowered financially to start up capital, maybe in the form of a loan, they can give you a certain amount of money, for example 10 million shillings, you start up something. Then after you pay back, after your business is established. So I pray that the government comes up with such initiatives whereby these graduates are given some financial assistance to start up, because it is still of no use to skill
But again, when you talk about that they lack capital to start up their own businesses, it sounds like a contradiction somehow, because some graduates that are released by these institutions, most of them do not have capital. But they use the available resources to make sure they start those small businesses. The challenges we have with most of the youths, they usually want to start with a lot of money, let's say in millions of money or billions or something. Business is not all about that. If you want to start your own thing, you have to start with a little that you have, and then you generate as you get the profits. So when you talk about that they lack capital, I think capital starts with your mind. You set your mind, you know that I have to do this, yes, let me start on it. You can start with a little you have. Let's say you can even start with 1,000. 1,000 can make you a business if you're serious with it. Can start like that. You can start, let's say you're going to venture in selling toothpicks. You know, you start with something like that small. Little by little you keep increasing. It doesn't mean that you have to start with a lot of money. So I really think that thing of capital, it does not work so well.
Now I shall differ from your submission, because according to our economy today, there's no business you can start with the amount that you have stipulated.
It was just an estimation.
Okay. When you look at the majority youths that are are engaged in these skilling initiatives of the government are from the slum areas. Actually, where I represent as a councillor, you find that these are the people who have been actually squeezed against the wall. We have nothing to do. And when this comes, it's just like a blessing for them to go back and acquire such skills. You understand? So you find out that however much they have been skilled, they even don't have. Yes, for this time around, I will thank the government because this program of the presidential initiative, when that youth is skilled and is finally out, is assisted financially with 1 million Uganda shillings. At least, yes, that can help. But there is not any business that can be started by less than at least 100,000. A small business in our economy. For example, when you're having like 100,000, yes, you can start up a carpet store in our slum areas. You can start up that one. But what I'm talking about is that, for example, someone has been skilled with hotel management and catering, and is having that knowledge. That person will require at least around 2.5 million shillings to start up, to employ those skills that he or she has acquired from those institutions. So I still believe that we have to empower these youths. However much we have empowered them with the skills, we still have to give them financial assistance to start up.
Don't you think if after I have gained my skill, let's say hard skill, let's say I've learned carpentry.
Yes.
Don't you think if I don't have the capital that is necessary to start my own business, don't you think I can start from someone's business
yes,
as
of
an
course.
employee?
Yes, of course. That again, you will become a job seeker. Yes, you're having a skill, you can do this.
But it will eradicate the problem of unemployment.
Yes, it will. It will help to a certain extent.
Yes.
Because you don't know how many people are there who have gone there to seek for that employment. The better thing to do, I think, for me is to help these people with financial assistance so that they can start up their own businesses. Because if you start with little that you've talked about, that you can start with the little that you're having. Remember, when the business is starting, it can be at a break-even point.
Yeah, true.
Where it does not make profits, no longer losses, but it's there just to maintain it. There a time can come when the business is operating at a shutdown point. What do if you don't have any other backup capital? What I mean is that I will even have to educate these people or these youths on how to start businesses, on what to do, because most of them do not have that financial literacy. Some can be having 2.5 million shillings and invest all that money at once, which is wrong. When you're starting up a business, I think when you're having 2 million, first invest the 1M, then you keep 1M for at least backup. When this 1M does not bring out what you expected out of it, so you can get on the backup and maybe add in some other capital. So the major thing, I think, to cut down the problem of unemployment is to encourage government to financially assist the youths. It can be in the form of loans. And I don't mean that they should just give them money. But if it can be done that way, yes, they give them. But I encourage them to give them at least in the form of loans. That they give you a loan of 1M or 2M, then after you bring that money back and it's given to another person also to start up. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Mboa. We currently have presidential industrial hubs.
Yes.
I guess you know about them.
Yes.
And they are most of them are in different regions of the country.
Yes.
These are put in place to give hard skill to the youths.
Yes.
The president here put it in place to actually curb the rate of unemployment in the youths.
Yeah.
But we see few youths are engaged in these trainings.
Yes.
What could be the cause?
I think it's now a collective responsibility of everyone, most especially we, the leaders, to give career guidance to our fellow youths, to the people in our communities. Because yes, these programs have come, but you find out that maybe in one way or another, these youths are not interested in engaging themselves in and the same. So I think that it is a collective responsibility in a way that it concerns me as a leader, it concerns you as a parent in my community, that we advise these people, we show them the light, we sit them down and show them what could be done, what is ought to be done. So
actually, when you talk about that,
Yeah.
as to my own analysis that I made recently, most of the youths don't know about these things.
yes,
They don't know they are put in place for them to lift up themselves.
Yes.
When you can go down there, mostly in your, let's say in your division,
Yes.
where you're a councillor,
yes,
when you ask one of those youths, they will really not know anything that is taking place about the presidential industrial hubs.
yes. The problem is, politics is good, but at its extreme, it becomes bad when the prayers are bad. These are programs which are ought to be of benefit to older people. Sometimes are politicized. That when a program comes from the government, those who are close to the government tend to keep those programs for themselves. When they are selecting their the beneficiaries of their programs, they handpick those people whom they know are affiliated to their political affiliations. That's the only problem. But if we are all involved as leaders, regardless of any political affiliation, I think we can calm down this problem. Yes, it is right that the majority youths do not know what's going on concerning the government programs, just because these programs are being politicized by the political prayers.
Besides being politicized,
Yes.
what do you think else is lacking with the government to how do they call it, to let these youths know what is taking place?
There is something that is lacking in the flow of information. For example, if these programs come, I'm expecting the government to put adverts, not only on radio stations or TVs, but also these billboards, so that we can enlighten these youths. And two, I'm expecting the government to involve all the leaders, starting from the division.
When you talk about that, you yourself, your government, do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Because you're a politician.
Yes, I'm a councillor.
You're a councillor.
People. Yes.
What have you done towards that?
To me, if a program comes at the division and I am informed about it, I make sure that at least I get someone
Who
in my
has to
community.
inform you?
We have a political head. I have a political head
So he's
of the division. If a program comes from State Hall and comes at the division, the political head, that is in the mayor, has to be informed about it, who also informs the speaker. Because at the division, it's the speaker who is responsible for us as councillors.
But again, when you talk about that,
Yes.
I'm not a politician. I'm not even a leader. I'm not even in the government.
Yes.
But I know about these things.
Yes.
Do you want to tell me that you have to first wait for the how did you call him?
The political head.
The political head to
Yes.
first let you know about it. Can't you yourself, someone like that is somehow concerned, take your own initiative to
Now,
do it?
For the period that I've been a councillor, I've at least learned something. You might not be knowing that the government works with protocol. There's that bureaucracy. There's that protocol that the government works through. You understand? And there are programs. We've had various programs. For example, the parish development model, whereby we as leaders, the councillors, to be more specific, we were not involved in those programs. That's why I talked about politicizing the government programs. You find out that we, the leaders, most especially here in Kampala, we are the majority councillors of the opposition. We are not involved in the parish development model. We don't know about it, but we are mandated to supervise them. Then how could you supervise something that you don't know? You don't have any knowledge about it. You are not educated about it, but something is being implemented. That's why now it is encountered with various challenges.
So you want to tell me that if you don't know about it, the fact that they didn't sensitize you or they didn't tell you about
Yes.
it, so do you want to tell me that you're going to just sit and look back?
Of course, me as a leader and of this generation, I might say, I'm not sitting back. I'm not just sitting back. at least I try my level best to meet the person is responsible, to meet the executive director of Kampala and ask her questions that I'm seeing this such and such program in my community. What is it all about? Educate me about it. But in a good way of effecting these programs, I think we must get involved in all the programs that come on the ground, because we know those people. You cannot tell me that it's the minister of Kampala who is mandated to effect the parish development model, when me as a leader who is on ground, who was voted by people, you don't involve me. So for you are in the office, you want to implement all that from the office. And two, why I'm saying that they have been politicized, you find that when these programs come from the government, they are like only for the people who are supporting the government or who are supporting the party in the government. Because you find that the people, the focal persons in those programs are NRM, purely, only NRM. You understand? Without knowing that, yes.
Do you have evidence to that?
I do. I do have evidence. I'm a leader. What I speak today, I can repeat it tomorrow and even next year or when I'm required to. So you find that the focal persons are all NRM. So you found out that these people tend to make this a campaign tool for the future generation without taking care of the future generation. They only look at the future general election. That maybe let me get these people and put them in this program. They will vote for me come 2026, which is wrong. Instead of looking at the future general election, let us look at the future general. You understand? Let us look at the youths. Whether they are in support of the government or not, let us incorporate all of them. You never know what might come tomorrow. So the only problem is politicizing the program.
Again, when you say politicizing the program, most of the students, most of the youths, yes, they usually don't avail themselves. They take some of these things like minor things, or they have that ideology that they think these things are for specific category of people. You get?
Yeah, I'm getting
and
more.
That is not the case.
That is not the case.
That is not the case. But I believe it's not the case.
As I told you, it all rotates around politics and these focal persons who tend to turn these programs as they are only for a specific group of people. Because I'm expecting that if a program such as parish development model comes, inform the mayor, inform the LC5, inform the LC3, inform the chairman. Because we know these people in our communities more than any other person in the office. But if you exclude me, remember I have the mandate of the people. They have been coming to me asking me about the parish development model, but I don't have that enough information to give them. That's the only problem we are having. And two, these programs, as I told you, that they are framed in a way that a certain group of people benefit from the same. You find out that the people who would be beneficiaries of such programs are actually the beneficiaries. You find people who are well off, who are not even youths, you understand? Who are coming from families which can at least take care of them, which can educate them, are the beneficiaries in our communities. You understand? But because they have made this a political tool, for them they are looking at the future general election, not looking at the future general or the future generation. That's the only problem. Everything is politicized. The government has good programs. They have good programs. They're having the presidential initiative, which I appreciate in my community. It has done something because some people have been skilled. But again, the parish development model came to at least uplift the families which are not well off, to skill the youths in our communities. But everything, I'm telling you, has been politicized. The parish development model, if you come to my electoral area, it will be evident that those only in NRM are the persons, are the ones who are choosing the beneficiaries of parish development model.
What of the presidential initiative you're talking about?
The presidential initiative, I took initiative as a person to look for those people.
Are you part of the government? Like, I mean,
yes,
are you?
Yes, I am, but the government is something which is broad.
No, like you say that they are using these most of these initiatives.
Yes.
To police. They are politicized.
Yes.
That means that they choose people in their favor.
Yes.
You get?
Yes.
So you're not part of the said political the NRM thing that you're talking about. Actually,
no, I am not.
You're not part of it. But how come for the presidential initiative you managed to take part in it? Yet you're saying that they choose their own people.
Yes. As a leader and as a youth, there's a way I do my things. In our ghetto language, you call it labadab style. To me, what I do when I hear about anything, whether it has been flaunted by the NRM apologists or anyone else, I will come because I have the mandate of the people.
Then why don't you do the same?
I've tried
for the parish development model.
I have tried my level best, but because this program involves money, liquid cash, it involves liquid cash, whereby you make an enterprise and it's incorporated in the circle and they give you money. So these people, what I found out is that anything concerning liquid cash, they don't want anything like a scrutiny. They will push you away. And you have nowhere to complain. When you go to complain to a certain office, these are their people. They won't take action. But because this presidential initiative, for it did not involve hard cash to be given out to people, but skilling. You get people, you take them. You understand? As a leader, they will at least in one way or another give that respect. Not to get ashamed maybe in the public. I took some youths in my community. They were enrolled, and some of them are waiting graduation because they have finished their course. But anything concerning parish development model, this concerns liquid.
Okay, thank you so much. Do you think parish development model that was brought about by the government, is it going to curb the rate of youth unemployment?
No, it's not going to.
Why?
As I've told you, that there would be beneficiaries are excluded. And the people who would not even come close to the program are the beneficiaries. I'm talking this with evidence. In my community, you find that the people who would not be even close to that program are the beneficiaries. And two, this program was never brought to these people, maybe to educate them about it. It is a program that came abruptly. It came from abruptly. And two, the problem we are having here in Uganda and mostly in Kampala, most of these programs are brought during the political period, the election period. They use it as a campaigning tool. For example, there was a very good program of Emyoga. It is by a mere look at it, you find out that it's a very good program. But the timing, I mean, that time when it was brought up, it looked as if it only covered the people of NRM. And when you go, I'm telling you this, all the beneficiaries of Emyoga are NRM. And two, even the people who are working at the divisions where these circles are being registered have also become a problem. Bribes. Someone has applied for 30 million shillings, then you deduct 10 and take it you as an individual. You understand? So this parish development model is going to fail. Only that these people don't have the knowledge, because they were specific in nature, that we are going to finance such and such businesses. No, now me, who deals in, for example, in laundry, I don't have that knowledge of how the business of selling tomatoes works or moves. So if at all these people were first enlightened, educated about the parish development model, maybe it would have, at least to a certain extent, helped in reducing the unemployment rates in our communities. But because these people don't have the knowledge, and these people are going to eat that money, I'm telling you, and they won't pay it back. They won't pay it back because we have already seen it.
Okay, thank you so much for that analysis. You as a youth councillor,
Yes.
what have you done for your people, for the youth to uplift them, to curb the situation of youth unemployment? What have you done in a few minutes?
First of all, me as a leader, what I think we should first look at how can I say it? We should first talk to these people. We should have to sit with these people down and talk to them as the youths. Because as you know that these youths, some of them, most especially in our slum areas, some of them, I have to be open, this as a leader, are having those unbecoming behaviors, whereby we must have to first change their thinking or the way they look at things. We have to first talk to them, sit them down. Because for me, I've tried my level best, because I started up what we call Chimbo Standard Education Services. I'm partnering with some institutions around town to see that these people at least acquire skills, first acquire skills.
That's
Because
good.
even if you get a job for someone, at least he can use that job to improve on the skills that he or she has acquired from the institution, so as to start up his or her own business. So to me, what I'm doing best is encouraging these people to at least acquire skills, which I have done.
Okay.
Yes, in partnership with certain institutions in town.
Okay, thank you so much, Shemboa.
Thanks very
Thank
much,
you for
Betty.
honoring the invitation, and thank you for being part of this show. To the youth out there, I would like to tell you that you should take up these initiatives that are brought up by the government. Be part of them. However much you find hardships with them, but please make sure you be part of them so that you could gain yourself a skill, so that when you get somewhere for a job, you have the skill and you're paid. And this will curb the youth unemployment. Yeah, it has been nice being with you today. Thank you so much. I remain